For more than 25 years, CSL has been a leading provider of critical connectivity. The sectors they work in and applications they connect are at the highest end of critical communications. CSL began life in the world of security and fire installations, providing critical connectivity to alarm systems that protect properties and lives. CSL then became the connectivity provider of choice for the telecare sector, once again protecting the most vulnerable people in society. In recent years, CSL's knowledge and expertise has been applied to other sectors where business continuity is essential and where any downtime can cause major disruption to services. Critical connectivity can be complex, but CSL makes it easy. Please welcome to the stage Daniel Rossing, Head of Telecare Europe, CSL, and Hiran Ravit, Head of IoT Business Development and Partnerships at CSL.
Alrighty, Hiran, Max. Very nice to have you here on stage. And very nice introduction from Cyril as well about CSL and the importance of having such a nice customer. So you guys are taking critical connectivity quite seriously, don't you? Max, maybe you can expand a little bit on this topic for our audience.
Yeah, will do. So first, I think on the screen before was Daniel Rossing. Daniel Rossing's not managed to be here, so I'm actually Max Stevens, sorry. The worst looking of the two. So critical connectivity. So in CSL's background, fire and security originally, so property, theft, stuff like that. And then more recently, and what mine and Daniel's focus is on telecare, so life critical. So if that signal can't get from A to B, potentially that's someone's life and someone could lose their life if that doesn't work. So that's what historically has been critical connectivity for CSL.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's now changing, right? Because COVID has made lots of things critical. So EV charging is critical, working from home is critical. So we've got lots of capability and we want to expand into new markets where we educate the market in terms of what's critical.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that when you are betting so much on critical connectivity, you also need to have a reliable partner. And our partnership has been really, really special. Can you tell us how does Tele2 IoT enable this vision of yours?
Yeah, so I guess there's lots of MNOs that we work with, but the relationship is different with you guys. So we've got a real partnership model. It's not that we just buy connectivity and stick it into devices. If we're talking to critical customer use cases, we need a support model from you guys to back that off, and that's what we have. So, our teams are really close. We've got great support from you guys, and we can then serve this critical market.
Yeah, like Hiran says, so we work with a lot of MNOs, and when there's a big outage, all MNOs are really good at jumping on that and fixing those outages. The difference, I think, with Tele2 and why we work so well with Tele2, and we followed people like Simon and Cyril from another MNO over to Tele2, is that they understand the critical side of things, and that whether you've got 1 million devices offline or one device offline, if that one device is someone's life, it's just as important as if there's 1 million offline. And it's that help and support with the small issues, I think, that really sets Tele2 apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when it comes to the market itself, I think that you are not the only one player on this market, and there are some of the means how you need to differentiate. Well, for many years you have been differentiating with these beautiful shirts Phil was wearing, but what about the main kind of a unique selling points?
Yeah, so I think the same again, going back to that, is the service. So I think where CSL really excels is on the service side of things and being able to give, that attention to detail, and the fact that in the markets, particularly security and telecare, we're really sort of in the fabric of those markets, and we understand how the devices should work, and therefore we're able to help support our customers.
Yeah, and I guess historically, companies like you guys, even me in my past life, we've taught the market that everything needs to be self-managed, that you need an app or a portal to self-manage. But in a practical sense, it doesn't work, because if you're in a retail setting, you've got customers in a shop and the connectivity goes down, the guy isn't going to go on a portal to try and diagnose what's going on. He wants it to just work. And that's the difference in what we offer. We provide a fully managed service around the connectivity to make sure it always works. We pre-configure everything, we send it out, and all they've got to do is plug it in and play. And when things go wrong, because we proactively monitor and manage the network, we'll make it right so that it's always up and running.
And since you bring reliability, there is also another aspect of that, which is, of course, cybersecurity. So how does CSL help their end customer then tackle the possible issues coming from there?
Yes, I guess the whole critical market that we're supporting it also needs to have security around it. I mean, if you imagine that we're powering fire alarms, CCTV, it can't then have a cyber security issue that then takes those offline. So we have our own private infrastructure that is secured and encrypted, and it makes our solution ultra secure. And again, because we're providing it in a simple to deploy way, we just ship things out and you plug it in, then people don't have to worry about it. I mean, we ourselves in lots of different use cases are a failover independent of what a company's own IT infrastructure has. And having that reliability and ultra secure setup is what customers love.
Max, do you have anything to add on this one?
Yeah, so I think it was mentioned earlier on in the connected care part about regulatory and GDPR and stuff like that. So those private networks that CSL put in not only secure the traffic, but also mean that monitoring sensors, which is where in telecare that traffic goes to, means they don't have to open up to the open internet, and therefore all of the sort of customer data or health data and stuff like that is secured and doesn't have to be opened up to the open internet.
And in some of the cases, some of the customers might not be taking the reliability and security so seriously, and that might actually lead to some very, very alarming things. So we had some of the big scandal where in Sweden, one of the supermarket chain had a little bit of an outage because of the cyber attack. Do you also have some of the examples or maybe ways to explain what can happen if the customer doesn't take that seriously enough?
Yes, I think the case that you're talking about is the co-op, or you guys call it Coop. Right? So in the UK, we work with these guys for that very reason. So it's lots of businesses have got redundancy, right? They have fixed lines that fail over onto mobile, but in the event of a cyber issue, they can't actually access that. So what's then your failover? And that's the bit that we provide. We're that independent business to help these businesses continue to trade. And in those situations, that's where we've helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. And Max, you represent one of the growing area which we also discussed here, which is connected care. But maybe you can also elaborate a little bit more about the other industries or verticals where CSL is quite prominent.
Yeah, so there's loads. Like I say, fire and security was sort of where CSL started out, then moved into telecare. We're doing stuff with water utilities. I think there was the video on before. Hiran's got ambitions that we're going to move into drones and deliveries and stuff like that. I think anything where that communication is critical, whether it's not something that if it gets there in 4 hours, that's good enough. And anything where the signal has to get from A to B straight away, that's what we think is critical and therefore what we want to be involved in.
Mm-hmm. And talking about the future a little bit, so what are the ambitions of CSL going forward, and how does this industry reshape in the upcoming 5 to 10 years?
So yeah, I guess we've got a strong heritage in what we do, right? We've been around for 25 years. People know our brand, but it's often associated with fire and security and telecare. But we know from the business that we've run in recent times that our capabilities are even better in other IoT verticals. So the focus is for us to go to other countries, go into broader verticals, and help businesses in the way that we have been doing.
Mm-hmm. But while that's the case, also still not forgetting those core sort of verticals, I suppose, for CSL and carrying on. So it was mentioned earlier about the growing aging population in Europe and also the analog to digital switch. So I think there's at the moment around 5 million connected devices in Europe, and CSL's ambition in telecare would be to sort of be the backbone of telecare and to provide that connectivity for those devices as they go digital.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So some small question to our digital host, Judy, Joanna. Maybe we have any kind of questions coming online?
One of the questions is, CSL is a UK-based company. What are you bringing to the Nordics that maybe we don't have here? What are you offering the market?
Yeah, so we do also have an organisation based in Stockholm, I think. But yeah, so we're, I suppose, that service and attention to detail. We work with a lot of Swedish companies.
Okay,
one of the biggest.
My thoughts in my head.
one of the biggest organisations that we work with in telecare is a Swedish company, Carium. And again, those sort of lessons that we've learned from fire and security around roaming algorithms, how to roam efficiently, has helped us with them to help them to develop their products to be better as well. And then I think Hiran will be able to say more about managed service and stuff.
Yeah, and I guess that the whole managed service model that we have, there's not many that do it. It's difficult to manage end customers at an individual level, which we do. So it's not even just in the UK. Throughout Europe, there's not many companies that do the model that we do. We've got real strong relationships with the likes of you guys, which, again, not many partners have, right? So we want to utilize that and go out to the broader market.
Somebody wants to ask about technology, so 5G, LTE-M. How is that impacting, or is it impacting what you're doing, I guess would be the question.
So I guess in terms of the impact is us keeping on top of it and incorporate it into our solutions. So we're agnostic in terms of the hardware that we use and the suppliers that we work with. It's more customer driven. If the customers need something, then we will look to integrate it into our managed model.
And our data man is back, or woman. I want to know, what about the data? Who owns it? What are you doing with it?
So we don't own, process, or do anything with any of the data. We just essentially pass it through. So in terms of who owns the data, I guess that's between the device manufacturer and, I guess, the end user and the monitoring center. But we don't store or hold any data at all.
Okay, and that's it for questions.
Fantastic. Guys, I mean, it's really a big pleasure to see how you are growing in Europe and how we are enabling that. And it's very good to have you and the entire team flying here from UK to visit us at Total IoT Talk. So thank you very much for this very beautiful panel and stuff. And let's give a warm round of applause.